and welcome to the FE Bar. I'm your host, Jack Jordan Maynard, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Jack Pickering. We had two great races in Jeddah and the Evo sessions as well, so we've got so much to discuss. Verline 1 Race 1, Da Costa Race 2. Has it started to answer where this championship could be going? We want your thoughts on the Evo sessions too. Was it good or was it a shambles? We can't do this show without you, so we need you to get into the Discord, get in !Discord in chat. Nikki is the mod in chat, and well done, Nikki. Nikki is here, right? So Nikki's in charge. Nikki will be doing all the stuff, right? So Discord, all of that. Nikki, you're in charge. I'm telling you that right now because I tried to do that in the last stream and it's gone wrong. Like it changed. Right, Pico, your camera has slightly changed. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what is. I don't know what is going on. So can you go closer to your? No. Can you go close? Just all you need to do is move your chair closer to your chest of drawers and bed. I don't know how that's changed within 2 minutes. Okay. All you need to do is go back to where you were. Go back to where you were. Right, and then everything will be fine. I don't know how that's changed within 2 minutes. I really don't. I do not understand. Now your green screen is not in the shot. I have no idea. That's just OBS being.
Really zoomed in.
Yeah.
I'm really zoomed in.
Well, it's good.
I'm not sure what's happened. I'm gonna try some. Hang on.
I don't think it's on your end. I just think it's OBS on our side.
I don't know. I mean, I'll find out in 20 seconds.
Yeah, you're okay. Just don't look to that. Just don't look to.
My chair,
don't look.
Which is always at an angle, which is always super fun.
Oh, I haven't turned you up. Hold on, sorry, Pico.
Have they not heard any of that?
Yeah, no, they have heard you, but you were just a little bit lower. But basically, just don't go too far to your green screen. Stay towards your chest of drawers and bed, and then everything will be happy. We're going to have a little bit of a special as well today because me and Pico, we are the best inclined. It was Valentine's weekend over the weekend, right? So if you got any Valentine's Day stories, or if you want to tell us what you did for Valentine's Day, I know everybody watched Formula E race, but if you did Formula E race with a cute couple car type thing, we want to know, right? We want to know. So if you've got any cute little Valentine's Day stories, or if you have any problems, right? Maybe I have a problem. Maybe we could share on here, right? And maybe, right, we can get some advice, or we can give you some advice on any problems that you've got.
I don't think we're in the best case to give advice, darling.
We can. We can.
Yeah, no, I thought of a very bad thing that I think I'm going to do. Do you know what? Because I've been going back through the shows and just trying to log it, and I'll be honest, I haven't done a lot lately because I've been doing more content for the socials. But one thing that I've noticed is whenever Nick's been on this side of the screen, he's always started saying like, "Oh, I've got a really good story for later based on the theme of that you've decided for this week." And so
the theme is Valentine's.
In the spirit of Nick Golding, I've got a good one that I am going to write down so that I don't forget, because you'll probably come back to me in a couple hours about it, and I will probably forgotten about it. But I'll write it down on here, and then so that I can remember that for later.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, my brother did something, right? And we'll get into Formula E, but this needs to be said, and I'm going to say it live on radio. It's kind of funny, right? So he works in a high school, right? And there's this girl, right? You know, you do it at school. Sometimes you get to buy a flower or and you have to send it to your secret admirer and something like that, right? So his school was doing something like that, right? So the girl had brought a pack of sweets. This time it was a pack of sweets, right? And basically had decided that actually she didn't want her name to be on it, right? But to still and she'd pay and give the sweets to the boy, right? And then my brother decided, being the teacher and a bit dumb as he is, right? He put "from your secret admirer" on the piece of paper that the sweets went to, and obviously, as every teenage type thing at high school, it gets found out who the secret admirer is, and oh my god, it's just the whole thing, and you're just like, oh my god. My brother will not thank me for that, but yeah, good story.
Mine's eerily similar.
Good Good story. But anyway, Formula E. We'll start with Formula E because, oh my God, what a weekend we have had. And I don't know if the weekend has answered any questions that we had going into the weekend. I still don't know. One, we thought maybe after Jeddah we'll have a clearer picture of where this championship's going. I think maybe that's been slightly answered. But, because when Verline won that first race on Friday, I was like, that's a statement. Right, that is a great win from Pascal Verline. But he didn't back that up on Saturday's race. Like, the pace was gone. And then you're like, hold on a second. How can we go from one weekend where he's really quick, right? Or one race where he's really quick. I know this is the same track, but this could easily happen in Formula E going forward. You know, and then, you know, Porsche might... I'm not saying Porsche are going to turn up to Madrid and be nowhere. But, like, they were nowhere on the Saturday race. And you're just like, I don't know what type of race we'll have in Madrid. Who knows? It could be another Peloton type race. And if Porsche, and you're like, oh, I thought Verline here was good for the championship, and all of a sudden, I'm like, maybe this weekend didn't answer that. Maybe that wasn't a statement win as I thought it was.
Well, let's put one thing out the side. Yes, Pascal Verline needs the championship, and he did have a substantial lead after Friday. But actually, Edo Mortara is only 6 points behind Pascal Verline at the moment. There's then a little bit of a gulf to third place. But yeah, so it's certainly Pascal isn't away in the distance. But I mean, yeah, we've seen it before, and we'll see it again in Formula E, where they've been great on one day and not so great the next day. And the most obvious example of that, same country a couple of years ago, Jake Dennis, he dominated the first race in Diriyah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was either was it season 10? I'm not sure if it was season 9 or season 10. I'm fairly certain it was in the Gen 3 era. But he dominated that race.
Yep.
Yeah, he dominated that race on the Friday, and I think he won by like 12 seconds or something like that.
I do remember this.
And then went into qualifying the next day.
It was nowhere.
Qualified 18th.
Yeah, I remember this.
Had an interview with Nicky straight after, going, "That is the worst car I've ever driven."
Yep.
And compared that to such domination the day before, this is just what Formula E does. But also, there was a very interesting storyline that I only really picked up whilst I was watching the highlights on ITV4 downstairs.
Yeah, they were just on
because
before the before Brentford are currently playing Maxfield, and I just
well, yeah, but that's not on ITV.
I know, but I managed to see that before I was searching. I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. So the main story of the weekend was the tyres.
Yeah.
And there was many inconsistencies between the tyres over the course of the weekend. And the bit that I saw was Taylor Barnard, after he had a bad qualifying in race 2 on the grid, speaking to Karun, and he was saying how that they used the tyres from the race on Friday for qualifying, and it just did not work in the slightest. So yeah, that's got to be a major factor when you look into the results of this weekend.
I really don't know what's going on with DS. Like, it's shocking, really, because they've got two good drivers, right? And I put Barnard ahead of Gunther, as much as my Gunther bias, right? I put Barnard ahead of Gunther, but Gunther on his day, like in Jeddah, for some reason, Gunther just loves Jeddah, right? Just loves that place, and you know they're 1 and 2 pretty much, or they're in the top 3. They get the race so wrong.
They're 1 and 3, and they ended it 10th and 11th.
The point. I think. Barnard got a point on both days, right?
Yeah,
and just like,
Gunther finished. I think Gunther finished 11th both days as well. It was.
And I don't know what is going. Because when Barnard moved there, I was like, I had my doubt. I'm going to be honest. I had my doubts. I was like, he's a top driver. Yeah, I had my doubts. I just didn't believe that the team would give him a car to he wants to win races, and I just don't think that's the car. I honestly don't think. I wouldn't be surprised if DS Penske don't win a race this season. It wouldn't surprise me, because they get it wrong 9 times out of 10. And I think
they're currently second last in the championship, but they've only got Lola behind them.
Proves my point. I just think they've got themselves in good positions. They can do well in the duels. They can do well in practice. I don't know what happens in the race. I really don't know what happened, and it's been happening consistently now for a while. They got Shanghai right, fair play. They got a 1-2 that day, right, last season. But that it's like one, and then it's just a load of. That's a big talk. If anyone's a DS Penske fan, come and have a chat, because I want to hear from you, because what is going on with that team, I do not know. But shocking. But then last thing to do before we get called in, before Tobias comes in at 8:30, is Da Costa. Big win. I think this was a big win, right? One, it was a Peloton's type race, and he's won by a couple of seconds. Managed it perfectly. And I'm like, okay, right. Is he starting to get to grips with the car? You know, Da Costa, to be fair, in most of the races, has been there or thereabouts, right? And, you know, and he's been unlucky, right? Getting hit a couple of times. So, now that he's got that win, and we know what Da Costa's like, if he gets comfortable in the car and Jaguar makes steady progress, I'm not saying that he's going to go and win the next couple of races like he did at Porsche. I do not think that will happen, right? But this could be a good catalyst for him to sort of move forward and really, you know, put on a little bit of a championship charge.
It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. We know how good of a driver he is, and he's arguably the most dominant Formula E champion ever. I mean, admittedly, Roland equaled Da Costa in terms of winning it the earliest, with still a weekend to go. But yeah, the run that he had in season 6 when he was at Jeddah, like, that shows how good of a driver Antonio Felix Da Costa is, and we've seen how good he is over the course of the seasons, like, and how he can overturn different things. Yeah, we mentioned it. Saw in season 10, and he won, I think it was 5 races that year. It should have arguably been 6th because of the Misano Springgate, but yeah, he won 5 races at the latter end of that year and 4 on the bounce. So we know how good of a driver Da Costa is, and this has proved that he's got his feet underneath the table now, and he is ready to challenge at the front, fighting for wins. He was unlucky in Miami with Drugovich taking him out, but easy for me to say. But yeah, it genuinely wouldn't surprise me if Da Costa is there when we go to London and there is a title fight on the line.
Yeah, I want to talk about Eduardo Mortara before we get a caller in, actually, as well, because pole didn't go his way, obviously, Saturday's race, but he gets back-to-back poles. Right? Friday, sorry. Mixing up my days. On the Friday, back-to-back pole positions, though. Finishes on the podium in the first race. He's just been super consistent, and he's second in the championship. Now, I have my doubts, and again, I know we got a lot of Mahindra fans, so if you are a Mahindra fan and want to come on and talk about Eduardo Mortara, because I do think he's your best hope if you're a Mahindra fan of a Drivers' World title this season. But do you think he could go the whole season without a win and still win the championship? Because my question is, right, you have to be super consistent, and Mortara has been fairly consistent so far in these races. That's why he's second in the championship. But that final percent of Mahindra being able to win a race, and you know, you feel like they had 2 bites of the cherry, and you felt like Jeddah would be a good place for them, right? It was similar to Valencia. You felt like Mexico was a good chance. You felt like Jeddah was a good chance. Those were good chances, tracks which was suitable to what we saw in Valencia, where they were so dominant, and Eduardo Mortara was so consistent and dominant, right, in Jeddah in terms of his lap times, being so consistent with the 15.1s in qualifying. But he's picking up high points positions, and you see like Verline wins, finish 8th. You know, we've seen Roland podium, no points, right? And we can see the inconsistencies, which if Mortara can keep that consistency up, surely that could help him. One in his championship charge, but maybe he might not even need to win it. I think was it? I can't remember. Keke Rosberg didn't win any Formula 1 race and won the world title that year. I think it was.
I think he might have had one on his way to winning. I know that it's either 1 or 0, and I can't remember. So but yeah, consistency. Yeah, consistency is absolutely key in Formula E, and we've seen it before. Like, I mean, look at last year. Ollie Rowland, he only won a couple races, I think, last year. But when he didn't win, he was constantly on the podium or either fourth or fifth. Like he was never outside the top 5, and that's what won him that championship in the end. It's the consistency that makes the season, and you need that to be able to fight for the championship. I hope Mortara doesn't go a full season without winning a race, because he absolutely deserves to win a race. Because he's been fantastic so far this year. And it'll be nice for Mahindra to kind of break that duck, because I think their last win was Alex Lynn in season 7, and so it's coming up 5 years almost since they last won a Formula E race, and as you said, there are quite a lot of Mahindra fans. I mean, like when I started watching, I've watched Formula E since day one, and I've always felt Formula E in Formula E, like the underdog team that you root for is Mahindra.
Yeah,
Mahindra have always been like the fans' team, and so I think it's great to see Mahindra back up there, being able to fight consistently, especially after like the torrid years that they had in season 9, season 10, little bit of season 8 as well. It just never really clicked for them. But the fact that they've been able to fight at the front end is fantastic. And obviously we'll see what happens when we get to Gen 4, because obviously they started late. Will they be able to catch up and have something quick enough to compete in the first couple of years of Gen 4? That's something that we will have to see. But it's certainly interesting. And I think I don't think anyone would begrudge Mahindra being up there fighting for wins and championships.
Yep, no, for sure. Yeah, I just think consistency is key. I really want Mahindra to win a race this season. I just think it's not like bias or supporting or anything. It's just because I think it would be great, and it would be that tip of the iceberg for Frederick Bertrand to say, like, I've taken you from the bottom to the top and we've won a race. Like, and that will even though it's not a championship, that's like a big stepping stone in the mission of turning that team around, I think. Right, let's take some calls, because we're going to start with a new caller. We've got Izzy Dude in the chat. We're going to try and find out their name. We're going to take them in, and then coming up. I'm
going to take one at Izzy.
Maybe, could be. And then coming up at 8:30, we'll speak to Tobias Wirtz with another Toby TED Talks. I don't know what it was. Tech Talk.
Toby's Tech Talk.
Toby's Tech Talk. Still, the theme tune is still pending. Maybe I'll sing one. But anyway, let's get Izzy Dude.
Oh God! Please don't. Oh God!
We can practice. We can practice.
Well, I mean, like, you would need to practice to be able to sound all right. But
I think I sound.
I mean, like, even then, I mean, like, I'm not sure.
I'll make something on the spot. Izzy Dude, what's your name? And thank you for being on the show.
Easy Dude. Sorry, I can't speak too loudly because my brother sleeps, but
okay, that's fine.
I'm happy to be on the show.
No, we're glad to have you on. First time. What would you like to talk about? What would you like to discuss today?
Well, I think the Evo sessions.
Yes, right. Let's get into this then.
Yeah. I'm just questioning how effective are they for the, like, how effective are they bringing on new fans? Because from what I see, no one really cares about them.
Well, 5.8 million people watched it.
Really? 5.8?
5.8 million people watched the live stream, right? So that tells me people care about it. However, the most interesting thing for me, right, is Formula E's sub count on YouTube. The subs didn't go up, right? The subs didn't go up. So you've got 1.06 million before, and it stayed on 1.06 million. So, yes, 5.8 million people watched it, but you'd expect people to then subscribe to Formula E, right? So that showed me that they didn't get enough subscribers, right, on YouTube to go up to the next step, which I find that was probably the most interesting thing for me, right? Was, you know... That was the most interesting thing for me. So, I think in terms of reach, especially the Izzy Hammond crash, there was, that's one of our highest ever, like, in terms of reach and how many views we've got off Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts. Not quite YouTube Shorts though. Is one of the highest. So people have been invested in it and people have seen it. So whether it is positive or negative, right? People have seen it and Formula E will be in their algorithm. So I don't know. I think it's been fairly effective.
Yes. Yeah. I find the sub count on YouTube from Formula E quite interesting, to be honest, because I watched it almost weekly since last season, and it did go up. It's like almost a week ago, it was still at 1.05 million, and it like we just recently hit 1 million. I think that the growth is quite good.
Yeah, that's what we want, Pico. Like, I suppose out of the championship, we do want it to grow. And yes, there was a lot of you can't deny whether it was a good event or a good show or not. A lot of people watched it, and Formula E were looking for that.
Oh yeah, it definitely drew people in. I think that's a solid from Formula E, and the thing is, that's what they tend to do. They always look at the numbers more than anything, and I'm not sure if the numbers like always tell the truth. And I know that we've had this conversation before with when they talk about viewing figures for races, where they kind of go for peak viewing figures over the average, and the peak is anyone who watches it for, I think, at least a minute. And so that's what they tend to do with these figures. And so yes, 5.8 million people tuned in, but that is a culmination of everyone who tuned in for at least a 1 minute period, and so it doesn't truly show the extent of the people who tuned in. So I think we do have to take it with a pinch of salt. But I think
so too.
Yeah,
because
I think
on the YouTube stream they just had 20,000 viewers,
that I did see. That's it shocked me that it added up to 5.8 million. But I just want to ask you a question on the whole. Did you enjoy the Evo sessions?
I think overall, yes. I mean, I'm always happy when there is more Formula E content, to be honest. But yeah, I think it was a bit a complicated system, and I don't know. It's hard to describe, honestly. I think it was a good thing that they did it and that they broadcasted it this time.
Yep.
But yep. I thought it was a complicated system, and I didn't really understood it. I didn't understood it, to be honest. Like there were a few influences that interested me, but overall, I don't think that the people who watch these influencers really care. Some of them had motorsport connections, but
I get what you're trying to say. It's like, are they going to stick around, right? And are they just here for the one day? This is the show, and then they never come back again. And I do think the vast majority of people will probably do that, right? But they might get some more Formula E. It might, if I suppose, I don't know if Formula E would say if they got one fan from this, that it was all worthwhile, because they've spent a lot of money to just get one fan. But
it was quite expensive with the crashes and all.
And especially, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit later on as well. But yeah, in terms of Evo, we'll cover that a little bit later, I think. But Easy, thank you so much for your first time call. Do call back again. Really great to have you on, and hopefully your brother's not asleep next time, so you can speak a bit louder. But yeah, but honestly, don't.
To be fair, you sounded fine. You sounded fine. So like,
fine.
yeah, absolutely
my
fine.
mic isn't the best. My mic isn't the best.
Yeah.
No, honestly, where in the world are you, by the way?
Nervous.
I'm always interested where our new callers are from.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I call again next time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. All right then. Right, we'll speak to you soon. No worries.
Right.
Right, bye.
Thank you.
It's time for Toby's Tech Talk. It's Toby's Tech Talk. It's Toby's Tech Talk. Toby's Tech Talk. It's Toby's Tech Talk.
Jesus Christ.
Toby!
Jesus Christ.
Hello.
So it's okay. Thankfully, he didn't have to listen to that.
No, he didn't have to listen to that. No, he didn't.
Yeah, you dragged him in after, because I reckon if you had dragged him in and then sung that to him, he would have left again.
Maybe. Tobias Verts from
Evening,
Formula
Toby.
News. How are we?
Good evening, guys. I'm fine. How are you?
I am very, very good. And you weren't just on Formula News this weekend, were you, my friend? Someone's gone big time. Have a look at this, everybody. Our Tech Talk man, he was on the TV. Here he is. On the TV. Oh, we're so proud of you, Tobias. How was the experience?
Isn't he glowing?
Look at him. He's so... Oh, what a legend. What a legend. We're so chuffed for you. I know you've been working with them for a while, but, you know...
Yep.
So seeing you on the TV and so forth and going, oh, yeah, like, fully well-deserved. Like, well done, mate. Like, how was the experience?
Experience was absolutely great. To explain to those non-German people here in the EFF bar, usually David Beckman is the expert in the German television.
Great expert.
But he was in Jeddah because he's also reserve driver for Porsche. And in the case that something happens to Pascal or Nico in race 1, he has to drive in race 2.
Okay.
So he will not do the double headers for television. And yeah, so German television was looking for another one that could be an expert. I don't want to go into detail too much, but the person they had already, there was some kind of miscommunication. So on Wednesday before the race, it was clear that it was not possible to get this person who has also been testing Formula E in the past. And yeah, then they called me, and I went to Munich spontaneously on Thursday to be in the studio on Friday and Wednesday.
So fingers crossed, right? That you haven't gone from being last resort to now number one choice. Like, let's get you ahead of David Beckman, right? Let's get you ahead. You're the guy.
No. David Beckman has a contract.
Yeah, I know.
for the races until the end of the season, except the doubleheaders. So and I have to say, I will be on site on the doubleheaders of Berlin, Monaco, and London, of course. So
you'll
maybe
still be
there
on
will
site
be
on Formula E.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll still be there. Still be there.
Yeah, but so maybe there will be another chance, but nothing planned.
Nothing
yet.
planned yet. Well, fingers crossed. I'm sure you put in a great performance, and I wish I could have had a chance to have seen some of it. But let's talk.
Can.
Okay, well, you need to send me some links. Send me some links.
Can we? Is there a non-geo blocked? Is it geo blocked, and 2, where can we find it?
That's a good question. I think it should be geo blocked, but just choose a German VPN and then you'll be able. I cannot say that you will be understanding quite much.
We don't need to understand. We just need to see your pretty face. That's all we need to see. Your pretty face is enough.
Yeah, I think Pico is learning some Swedish now.
Yeah,
I heard.
Well, yes and no. So for people who are unaware, I made I foolishly made a bet at the end of the last FE bar that if Joel Eriksson gets a podium this season, I have to interview him in London in Swedish. So my Swedish is okay to poor, so I need to properly brush up on that. But yeah. But yeah, no. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Right, let's talk Formula E then. And I know you want to do a bit of a tech talk about battery temps and derating, but before we get onto that, because you can kind of give us your rundown of the day, and I suppose we can talk Porsche as well, because you're our German correspondent. With Wehrlein winning, I thought that was a statement win, right, on the Friday. I thought, well, here we go. We were going into, trying to work out who the champion could be, who the protagonists this season are going to be, and I thought that's Wehrlein's step, and this is where he builds on. He's going to have a comfortable cushion. It just did not happen on the Saturday whatsoever for Porsche. I don't know if you were able to find out a bit more and so forth into why, or was that just Formula E? Like 1 minute you can be brilliant, but a double header the second day, if you don't get your homework right, you could be nowhere.
That's the case, absolutely. What I heard from several teams, I suggest that the tires do make a bigger difference in the Gen 3 Evo cars than in the past. To explain that, Hankook is the supplier of the tires, and they made some changes to the tires between Gen 3 and Gen 3 Evo to get more grip. They have a softer compound, and yeah, nobody wants to say that loud, because nobody wants to get in trouble. But it seems like the different set of tires do behave a little bit different in terms of temperature management. So you have one set of tire where you don't have temperature problems, and then you put the next set of tires on and your tire temperatures are 10-50 degrees higher. I don't know why that happens, but it's something I heard from 3 different teams now. I don't know if that's the reason. Nobody will speak officially about it, but that's something.
Because
they experience.
I'm sure the Hankook guy. His name is escaping me right now. I know you'll know his name.
Sandbichler?
Yeah. So, like at the press conferences that they do, Hankook, and if you want to try and ask a tough question, they seem to just push it away quite quickly. And I understand your point as well. I know, for example, you've got good relationships with Hankook as well. So yeah, trying to ask tricky questions, because there's been a lot of issues with Hankook, really. The wet tire issues, and now these tire pressure type issues. I don't want to put you on the spot, because I think that would be harsh, but like judging whether or not they've actually had a successful tenure, right, of being the tire supplier in Formula E may be questionable. But it's a bit of a shame. Because obviously we saw last race in Miami, that wasn't Hankook as such. That was the teams just getting the tire pressures a little bit wrong. Yes. But you're saying here that teams don't know if they put this set of tires, it can work and everything's in optimal, but they could put another set of tires on and all of a sudden everything's different. So where's the consistency? So I suppose that's the big issue.
That's what I heard, yes.
Yeah. So it's amazing that. So I'm assuming that's what Porsche had. So is that what you're trying to say? Porsche falling into that issue yesterday.
But to be honest, that it's not that the big difference, but the field is so close that even if it's just 1.5 tenths per lap, that makes a difference in the group qualifying between P3 and P7.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so close in Jeddah, Yeah.
Yep.
So that such a small margin can change everything for you.
No, of course, and you're fully right. Like the tires, the championship's so close that these mistakes are punished even higher, right? So, what are the teams doing then? Because I know Hankook, we've still got a couple of races left, and I know it's their last season before we have Bridgestone next year. Are Hankook, do you know, are the other teams asking Hankook to try and see if they can improve their tyres, or are we stuck like this now to the end of the season?
As I said, nobody wants to speak official about it. I think it's quite difficult because you don't know how the sets are before you have them on the car, and
Yep.
what the teams try to do is drive 1, 2, 3 laps with every set of tires. In a double header, they have 3 sets of tires.
Yep.
In a single header, they have 2. And they try to find out which sets is the most consistent one, and they want to use this set of tires for the race.
Do you think like in Formula One they have like a tyre test, like an official session, for example, to test the tyre to see if there's any improvements and so forth. And I think this could be big going forward, especially with Bridgestone, right? And Gen 4 with the car getting faster. But do you think, I know Formula E and this, it's not going to get implemented this season, I know that, but do you think maybe for Hankook, if they had opportunities to test different things out, or there were more tyre tests, then these things could get solved? Because I don't think Hankook have those opportunities. They just make the tyre, and the first time it pretty much gets tested is in pre-season testing in Valencia, or in maybe the manufacture days, but then that's it. There's no other time to maybe try something else.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know if they give the new tires to the manufacturers for the manufacturer tests. Can't say, to be honest.
Yeah, I just think it'd be interesting, wouldn't it, Pico? Just, if they had an opportunity to right. So say the wet tire wasn't working, right? And all of a sudden we're like, right, let's try this tire, and have a session in a wet, or they sprinkle it, whatever they do. They just do a private session with an old Gen 3 Evo or Gen 3 car, right? And they test it just to see if they can make some improvements. I think that would be maybe something Formula E might need to look into.
Yeah, I kind of see the need for that, and I think that's realistically only come up because of these issues that we've had in the latter years of the of the Hankook tire. There wasn't as much criticism in the first style of tire. It's just when this softer type of tire that came in at the start of season 11, it just hasn't. Yeah, it just hasn't really worked. There was. I think it was in Mexico City last season when everyone was criticizing the tires because they were going through the stadium section at about 30 kilometers an hour. And so it was just ridiculously so. But the thing is, at that point as well, it had already been announced that we're moving to Bridgestone from Gen 4, and so there is a little bit of Hankook are on their way out anyways. There's no real point in developing the tire. To be fair, this is bad, but if you're looking over at MotoGP, they've had tires that they can barely race on for the last couple of years now, and Michelin have refused to do anything because Pirelli's coming in next season.
Which makes sense. Why would you spend extra money developing a tire when you're not going to be in the series long term?
But yeah, it's it's disappointing that this happens, and especially with what happened in Miami, that it is a lottery in terms of a damp race, whether you go dry setup or wet setup, because that changes tire pressures, and then as we saw, there's such a substantial difference between those who go either way.
Yeah. So Tobias, just to finish up, pretty much, what was your thoughts then on Jeddah? Then what was, what was the thoughts on the two races? Where do you think we are championship wise? Do you think that we thought maybe that this might be the benchmark? Do you think we've got a benchmark, that we've got a set of protagonists, or do you think we're going into Madrid still trying to work out who the main players are going to be fighting for this championship?
I think who the main players are depends. It will change from track to track. We saw, for example, Nick Cassidy, very, very strong in Mexico, very, very strong in Miami too. But in Jeddah, he was nowhere.
Yep. Yeah, I know. So it's incredible, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I think we will see this continue through the rest of the season. I have to say, we saw two absolutely different races.
Yes.
Because of pit boost, that's one point, and because of the fact that the race on Sunday was just one lap less than Saturday was one lap less than Friday, but the cars had 10% energy less. So I made an analysis of the lap times, so you can see in Friday race the lap times were consistent from start to the end, just with the exception of the attack mode. And on Saturday it was not comparable. The drivers were driving 10 seconds per lap slower during the first 5-6 laps, and in the end they were going as fast as in the race on Friday.
Yeah.
So strategical, completely different.
Nick Golding was in the chat earlier. He said it was the races were much quicker though than people were expecting as well. And I suppose it was slow pace, but then it was quite fast towards the end, I suppose. So something that was quite interesting. Pico, were you going to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask Toby in terms of which race did he think did he prefer out of the pit boost or non-pit boost? Which one? Which one would you prefer?
I'd say I'd prefer the pit boost race, to be honest. I don't know if I would say the same thing if the second race would have been 2 laps less. Yeah, because it was so much energy saving that, and to be honest, all drivers now are doing the same tactics.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think people are starting to get really on top of these races, right? We know who's good, like Cassidy and so forth. Go on, Pico.
Yeah, this is something that I've been thinking about, and I know that it's. I don't think it's related hugely at all whatsoever, but do we need to have like a mandate for like a minimum amount of consumed per lap or something like that? Because I remember like when Formula One had the hybrid introduced. When it started in 2014, they had the fuel flow graphic that would come up. It only came up for like a handful of races, and then I don't think I ever saw it again. They'd have the fuel flow thing just to see how far, how much they were, whatever. But I can't find the right words in my head at the moment.
I was going to say I don't know what your point is. I don't know what your point.
But yeah, no. But the fact that everyone underconsumes so much at the start of the race, so that the last 7-8 laps are
full throttle.
so full throttle. Do you think that should be mandated in terms of how people underconsume and overconsume? Is there like a limit that they can only underconsume a huge amount? Would that be something that could be an idea?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think the FIA does simulations to set the number of laps before the weekend.
Yep.
And I think what we saw this weekend is absolutely what the FIA wanted to do. They wanted to have two completely different kind of races. I'm not sure if I really like this, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of your idea either, Pika. I just think they
No. It's something that I'd just throw out there.
You can't just start, because then the race will get really complicated. I think if we start trying to mandate you can only save this amount of energy between laps 1 and 10, for example, I just think it'll get really complicated. Final question, Toby, before we let you go. In terms of the type of racing, we saw the two different types. When we go to Gen 4, I don't know what you're hearing in terms of Gen 4, but do you think we're going to see more the type of racing A in terms of Friday race, or do you think the B type peloton races will continue? Anything that you've heard from that?
Yeah, we don't know how the sporting regulations will be in Gen 4. I think we will have more type 1 races. Let's say it that way.
Yep. I think so too.
I don't see that we are going to have that much peloton style races, because of the fact that the cars now have much more downforce in the Gen 4 era.
Yep.
So they are not able to drive as close to each other as now in the peloton style races. So it's getting more difficult to follow 1, 3, 2, 10 cars in front of you.
Yep.
Directly in the directly in the toe. So I'm not sure, but
yeah, I'm expecting it to be more type of part type. You know what we saw on Friday. I think that's the way I think it's going to.
It also depends. Gen 4 will have two different kind of aerodynamic sets. We will see both of them in the races. Maybe one shorter race with much downforce, and then a energy-saving race with less downforce. We don't know yet, but this is something that could be possible, to be honest. And did you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's incredible. I think when the sporting regulations come out I'm assuming they're going to come out in the next Motorsport World Council in April or May. I think it was June. June one.
No, June. June, the same one where the first calendar will be decided. Yes.
So I think that could send shockwaves through our sport if they come up with something wild and a completely different. Because I suppose everything is open. But Tobias, thank you so much for coming on. Enjoy. I suppose it'll still be busy, even though we've got 5 weeks now to Madrid. But you'll be in Madrid. I'll see you in Madrid, and we'll have a good time. But thank you so much for giving us your time.
You're welcome, guys.
All right. See you later.
Yeah. Cheers, Toby.
Bye. Interesting though, isn't it? Like, how much the tyres have actually played a role in this championship. We're going to get some callers in now. I'm going to get BDS Formula 1 on YouTube. I feel like I can't remember if they're a first-time caller this time.
I think
we got them in last
BDS
time.
is a first-time caller. We have already recorded something with SB10, but I don't think we can say anything about that.
Oh, yeah, we can't say anything about that.
I don't know about that.
No. So I'm going to leave it at that. And then, yeah.
Naughty.
I mean, I've given zero context there.
Yeah, I know, but still naughty.
There's literally nothing there. There's nothing. No one can read anything into that.
I don't even know when things are going to happen there. Anyway, not allowed to talk about it. BDS. What's your name? Because I've forgotten, and that's terrible from me. I don't even know if we did BDS when we did the I think we did,
we did BDS because I still don't know what the hell I'm going to do for a consistent name.
Okay. Well, keep it as BDS. We like just having people's first names help us build the community up, but we accept it. What would you like to talk about? Because I'm sure we've got lots to talk about.
I've got two things that I'd really like to talk about, and the first one is I didn't like the Miami race, and I don't think Formula 8 Miami has been doing too well for quite some time now.
Okay. Just to go in on that. Do you think it would have been better if it was a dry race instead of a wet race?
Potentially, but it's just an if. So whether or not it's dry or wet,
because we were expecting a super peloton race, like the super of super peloton races we were expecting.
So I'm actually happy that it rained because, I mean, like people know how I feel about the peloton races.
Yeah.
With the Gen 4s, there's two things that I want to get onto with the Gen 4s. First off, would they be able to run on ovals? And second of all, do you think that the Homestead oval would be a possibility if they could?
The answer is no and no, I think.
I don't. I reckon they could if you really wanted to.
But they're going to run out of energy in 5
seconds. Would they not? Yeah. Would they not a chance? I mean, like if we did ovals, it would be the Indy 50 instead of the Indy 500. The amount of energy we'd be consuming going around the circuit.
I wonder how much of energy they would consume in one lap of Indy 500. That would be interesting.
Well, the thing is,
I reckon
they can lift
nearly like 8%.
They can lift into turn 1. They can lift into turn 3.
It'd be the slowest lap of the Indy 500 probably in history.
Still faster than that Indy Autonomous challenge that they were trying to do, or still trying to do.
But to go back to your earlier point with Miami, I don't think the Miami race 1 was that bad, and also I feel like this year's race was a stopgap. Like you couldn't judge it because it was like, well, we're just getting ready for Gen 4, right? It's a track that's there ready for Gen 4, right? The layout was a bit questionable. It was lower than the but we're not going to use that layout next season. Could we use the full layout?
If they use the full layout, it's probably going to be a bit better.
Yeah, so
I can't see them using the full layout because I think the plan is to only use that one for Formula 1. They have 5 different layouts that they can use at the Miami International Autodrome, and basically it is the entire circuit, but where the chicane is, and then it goes up, and then it joins halfway down the straight, like we did with the Formula E. That's the full Miami International Autodrome. Then you got the Formula 1 Miami International Autodrome, which is the extreme length. It's 5.7 kilometers or something like that. For a stand, I think for all year round use, the longest Miami International Autodrome is the full circuit, but it just cuts off with that chicane and then up and then round.
Yeah.
I think I got that
right. What's your second point?
I had another point on the entire idea of running at Miami because I feel like Formula E at St. Petersburg would be a pretty interesting thing to go alongside the IndyCar race.
Peter will know more than me. It's a street track, but is it a fully street track?
Yes and no.
Yes and no, isn't it? Yeah.
So it is a fully street track that uses like 2 corners of a runway.
Yeah.
I think the best way to put the St. Petersburg circuit. I think in terms of lengthwise and like braking zones and like I think it would have definitely suited the Gen 3 Evos more. Obviously we can't really compare anything to the Gen 4s yet because we haven't actually seen it.
Yeah.
But there's also, and I know that Jack will be so delighted that I'm bringing this up, it's the sexy cities factor, which is like, oh, Miami, yes. Whereas like, oh, St. Pete. St. Pete has a less kind of like effectiveness than saying like, oh, we race in Miami. Yeah. All we race in Miami, all we race in St. Petersburg. Then people go, which one? Florida. Oh, thank God. Actually, do you know what? I'm not sure which one's better at the moment. They're both as bad as each other. But yeah, it's I think that's the main reason why they wanted to get back to Miami, and that's why we did Homestead first, to just kind of dip our feet in the water before we did Hard Rock. But I think the Hard Rock is kind of here to stay for Formula E, but I'm looking forward to using a different layout next season. Yeah,
this one just didn't work out.
Yeah, I just think it was. What was your thoughts on Jeddah?
I like Jeddah. The Evo Sessions was kind of disappointed that it wasn't an actual race, but at the same time.
Well,
we saw
did you see what happened? Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
saw what
Yeah.
happened.
Do you think?
Yeah, we
How
saw.
bad would that be
I was
if those
disappointed that it wasn't a
nutcases were
race, but
allowed?
then
You can
already
see why it wasn't a race.
Mm.
Do you think we'll see Evo sessions again?
almost certainly, like, it is a brilliant PR stunt for Formula E to continue doing something like this.
But the problem is Formula E paid, right? So Formula E out of their own pocket are going to have to rebuild Lola's car, and they're going to have to pay for for the Juka's car. And we had 2 spins that could have ended. There could have been 4 crashes. We had 2. It could have been 4 crashes. So a lot of money Formula E is spending. Do you think? Because the caller that we had earlier with
It's got the Google money. It's no problem.
Yeah, true, but because Easy Blue was like, is it actually, the sub counts technically didn't go up? Yes, 5.8 million people, but how many people are actually going to come back? And how can you quantify that? Like, how can you say it's a success? Like, how can you say, all right, 5.8 million people watched the event? Success?
5.8 million people did not watch the event.
Well, according to YouTube...
according to the view count, 5.8 million people watched the event. But I think it's more 5.8.
5.8
there were
million
5.8 million
at least
different
1
clicks.
Yeah, but still...
I think it's different clicks, because I don't think that many people watched.
Yeah, no, that
I think it would have been like 1 million different. And then they go off and go back on, because I know I did that.
But either way, right? Either way, someone's watched it, or they've clicked on it, so it's got the engagement that they wanted. Correct.
Yeah.
But is the money that they've spent on it and had to spend on it, right? Because obviously you got the live stream it and all that, paying all the presenters, and they got extra presenters in, which were a bit questionable, but And you've paid all those people. You've also had to pay. They've paid for all the celebrities. So Simon didn't come out of their own pocket. They were paid to be there. And then you've got to pay for a full Lola car to be a rebuild. I don't know. For me, if I'm Jeff Dodds, I don't think it can happen again personally, because I think you've gone right. It is a great idea. I fully respect that, BDS. That. It is a great idea, and that's why they've done it twice, right? But now they've had the Izzy Hammond crash. It's been seen all over the world, and they've got to pay to rebuild a whole Formula E car, and that's not cheap. So I honestly think Jeff will go, right, it's a great idea, but we can't do this again.
Yeah, probably best thing for it is to have some creators in the Formula E space set up their own Evo sessions, but what do I know?
Yeah, maybe it's something different. Maybe it is like a go-kart race, or a go-kart race against each other. They've had training. You've got maybe Dad ticked them in the year of being like the what is it? The race engineer. Sorry, that's the right word.
Yeah.
Maybe things like that. So maybe they could do it differently without the cars, for sure. Maybe that's the angle they go with, but I do not see them using.
I think it's also. I think it's also
maybe
the fact that they weren't. Yes and no, but the thing is, I think it's the fact that they weren't they had like a couple of days in the sim and they rocked up in Jeddah. They had no real kind of preparation. Whereas, and I whacked this in the Discord the other day, when Richard Hammond drove the Renault Formula One car. I think he started in a Clio Cup car and then built his way up. So he did. So he did some laps in this car, just to kind of build it up. So that he was ready to take on the Renault Formula One car, and that's where I feel like they've kind of not had that running. They haven't had the chance to like get used to this speed, and this style of car, and then obviously what happened with Izzy. I don't think we expected something to happen on that front. I don't think we expected something to be that big, and that's something that I think they may look at. And call me a pessimist, but I would be surprised if it comes back after what happens. But if it does come back, there needs to be plenty of changes from this year.
I actually quite like my idea of this go-kart event. and it's just rental go-karts. And
well, that's because you came up with the idea.
but I think it's got some merit to it. And then you've got the drivers having to coach the creators round. So we watch like the videos. It doesn't have to be. It could all be done pre. It doesn't even have to be done live, right?
Yeah.
You could do a lot of
Well,
it.
that's what they did last year. They did it pre-recorded, and it was fine.
But then
because there was a whole spectacle of it being live this year, everyone saw Izzy Hammond take a 24G.
The lights were too bright.
Yeah. But then there can be a race because it's in go-karts, but we can see them building it up, and then they can do the race, and they just don't tell us the result. Bit like Traitors and all that stuff, and all the TV shows we don't find out the result for months and months and months, and then it just comes out on YouTube as a video, all compiled together, and you can kind of see.
That's what they did last year.
Yeah, no, but that
that's
might
what
be,
they did last year.
That might be better than chucking them in a Formula E car and destroying a Formula E car. That might be more interesting. Who knows? I don't know. It's just an idea that I've come out in my head. I think actually
that would be a very interesting thing to have for Formula E creators in the future. But
because you've still got the creators, you've still got the Formula E drivers. The Formula E drivers are still training. You get to see a bit more of that training for the go-kart, and then all of a sudden, bish bash bosh, you've got maybe a race, and you see who wins, and you've got the Formula E drivers with the creators. 10 creators, 1 Formula E driver per creator, for example, and bish bash bosh, who
gives Tom Brooks something to do as well.
Who gives them something to teach, and Tom Brooks commentates on it. How brilliant!
Yeah,
there we go. Look, I've solved it. I've solved Evo sessions. I've solved it.
Yeah.
Right, Jeff,
clip it up, send it
sign
to Jeff.
me up. There we go, Jeff.
Indeed.
We're going to clip it up. We're going to put it on YouTube, and we're going to say, Jeff, watch this. This is what we do next.
Bringing him up.
I love how this is the first time where you've gone like, we need to get Jeff involved in this, whereas when I've come up with my schemes, you just batted me to the side.
Yeah, but my schemes are good.
Sure.
Your schemes are terrible.
Think it's too good.
I don't know. What's wrong with mine? Terrible.
You need a sprint and a feature race. Come on, you know the drill.
Yes. I agree with that. Sprint and feature. I like that.
All right then.
Perfect, baby.
Perfect.
BDS. Every week I say it.
Thanks for coming on though. Massively appreciate it. Definitely have you back on.
Yeah.
Right.
If I can.
Yeah, if you can. Obviously, if you can. But we'd love to have you back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll speak soon.
All right. See ya.
See you later.
Cheers, BDS.
I enjoyed that. That was a good call. I enjoyed that. Honestly, I think that idea has merit. I think you can wax out, polish up a little bit. But honestly, I think it's got legs. What should we do, Mr. Pickering? Do you want to take a small break? Let's take a small break.
We'll
take a small break because I could feel water, and I need to check the Brentford score as well. I haven't had any notifications, so I'm assuming it's still 0-0.
No, it's not.
It's 1-0 Macclesfield.
No. It's 1-0 Brentford.
Up the bees. I go find out. What's happening. I haven't had a notification of any goals, so I was worried that it was still 0-0. Up the bees. Although it's pretty prophetic, but I was kind of expecting that. I watched the first 10 minutes and I was like, oh god, the Macclesfield are up for this. But anyway, we're gonna take how long would you take? About 2-3 minute break, and then we'll route through your calls.
Don't go away too far.
Don't go too far because we're gonna route through your calls. So if you want to come on and have your say, we're gonna talk through and come on the waiting room, and we'll have your say. So we will speak into you in a moment. everybody. Quick break. We've got some water. I think we needed it. Hydration break. Not beer. I'm proud of you.
It must be the water.
It must be the water.
Yeah, to be fair, this is Seg 2, so if you would like to drink at home, you are allowed to drink. But I'm not, because I'm dieting at the moment. I've been told no booze, so I haven't had booze for about a month.
Wow.
So yeah, it's sad, but like to be fair, it's more annoying like when I go to the pub. So, but yeah, no.
We are back. Take two. Brief internet dropout. Brief internet dropout. Just for a couple of seconds. Just a couple of seconds. Didn't want to. Yeah, there we go. I said no, not gonna happen. What I was gonna say, actually, was I want to talk. Kiro, so I'm going to get Luty on, and then we'll talk Kiro. And I know Elsie is in the thing as well, who was also a Kiro fan, but we'll kind of segment them. I don't know. Hopefully, my internet will do okay. So we've dragged Luty in. Hopefully, the internet stays all right, and we're okay. Luty, I want to talk Kiro actually because they got a double points finish, and Dan over the weekend has got his first points. So a really I'm waiting, I'm hopeful that he's going to unmute. Oh, apparently you're but that's okay, fix that one. But Luty's still muted, so
that's
if
that's the thing, they always say that, oh Pico, sort your mic out. No, it's not on my end. My end is fine, it's his end.
Sometimes it's me. That one was me.
90%.
In all the
Luty,
things.
you've unmuted. Are you here?
Ah, Luty, hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Lovely to hear